5 most unbelievable events in world history that will absolutely blow your mind. These moments are so extraordinary that if they happened today, people would probably think they were fake news or elaborate hoaxes. But every single one of these incidents actually occurred, leaving witnesses stunned and scientists scratching their heads for decades. But first, your luck might just change if you hit that like button and subscribe before this video ends. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Number 1. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that one of the world's most famous waterfalls had simply vanished overnight. That's exactly what happened on March 30th, 1848. Residents living near Niagara Falls noticed something peculiar the evening before. The thunderous roar that had been their constant companion for generations was growing quieter by the hour. Some folks thought their hearing was playing tricks on them, but when dawn broke, they witnessed something that defied all logic. The mighty Niagara Falls had completely stopped flowing, where millions of gallons of water normally cascaded down with tremendous force. There was nothing but bare rock and scattered debris. People actually walked out onto the exposed riverbed, exploring areas that had been underwater for thousands of years. Children picked up fish that were flopping around on what used to be the bottom of the falls. Rocks that had never seen daylight were suddenly visible everywhere. The mystery was eventually solved when investigators discovered that a massive ice jam had formed upstream near Lake Erie. Enormous chunks of ice had created a natural dam so powerful that it completely blocked the water supply to the falls. For 30 hours, one of nature's most spectacular displays sat completely silent and dry. Then, just as suddenly as it had stopped, the ice began to melt. The blockage cleared and the falls roared back to life. This remains the only time in recorded history that Niagara Falls has naturally ceased flowing. Number 2. It takes us to a quiet French town where a wealthy family harbored one of the most disturbing secrets imaginable. In 1876, a young woman named Blanche Monnier lived with her prominent family in Poitiers. She was known for her beauty and intelligence, but one day she simply disappeared from public view. Neighbors assumed she had married and moved away, or perhaps was traveling abroad with relatives. The truth was far more sinister. Blanche had fallen in love with a man her mother deemed socially unacceptable. Rather than allow the relationship to continue, her mother made a decision that would shock the world decades later. She locked Blanche in a small upstairs room and kept her there as a prisoner. For 25 years, Blanche remained hidden from the world. Her mother told everyone who asked that she was living elsewhere, maintaining the family's reputation while subjecting her own daughter to unimaginable cruelty. Blanche was given minimal food and no contact with the outside world. She never saw sunlight, never breathed fresh air, never spoke to another human being except when her mother brought meager meals. In 1901, an anonymous letter reached the local police. The writer claimed that the Monnier family was holding someone captive in their home. When authorities investigated, they made a horrifying discovery. In a locked room filled with filth and decay, they found Blanche, now middle-aged but weighing barely 55 pounds. Her eyes could barely tolerate light after decades of darkness. She was mentally and physically broken, a mere shadow of the vibrant young woman she had once been. The case became an international sensation. Blanche's mother died shortly after the discovery, and her brother faced charges but was eventually released on technicalities. Blanche survived her ordeal, but required institutional care for the remainder of her life. This tragic case highlighted the extreme lengths some families would go to maintain social standing, regardless of the human cost. Number 3. It involves a man who literally jumped from the edge of space and lived to tell about it. In 2012, Austrian extreme athlete Felix Baumgartner decided to attempt something that had never been done before. He wanted to skydive from higher than anyone had ever jumped, reaching altitudes typically reserved for astronauts and spacecraft. On October 14th, Baumgartner climbed into a specialized capsule attached to a helium balloon and began his ascent. The balloon carried him up through the atmosphere, past commercial airline cruising altitude, past the point where normal parachuting is possible, all the way to 128,000 feet above Earth's surface. At that height, Our planet looked like a curved ball floating in the blackness of space. The conditions were beyond extreme. Temperatures plummeted to more than 100 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. The air was so thin that without a pressurized suit, Baumgartner would have died instantly. But he had prepared for years for this moment, working with engineers and scientists to develop equipment that could protect him during the most dangerous jump in human history. When Baumgartner finally stepped out of that capsule, he entered a free fall unlike anything ever experienced. For 4 minutes and 19 seconds, he plummeted toward Earth without deploying his parachute. During this incredible descent, something extraordinary happened. His speed increased so dramatically that he became the first human being to break the sound barrier using only his body. Picture this for a moment. While fighter jets need massive engines to exceed the speed of sound, Baumgartner achieved Mach 1.25 simply by falling through the thin upper atmosphere. The sonic boom he created was generated by a human body traveling faster than sound itself. Scientists around the world watched in amazement as their instruments confirmed what seemed impossible. This wasn't just a publicity stunt either. The entire mission served important scientific purposes, helping researchers understand how future astronauts might escape from spacecraft emergencies at extreme altitudes. When Baumgartner finally opened his parachute and touched down safely in the New Mexico desert, he had rewritten the record books and proven that human courage combined with advanced technology could achieve the seemingly impossible. Number 4. It brings us to ancient Ethiopia, where a simple shepherd made a discovery that would eventually change the daily routines of billions of people worldwide. Around the 9th century, a herder named Kaldi noticed his goats exhibiting very peculiar behavior. Instead of their usual calm grazing, the animals were jumping around energetically, almost as if they were intoxicated or experiencing some kind of natural high. Kaldi observed that all the excited goats had been eating small red berries from a specific type of tree. His curiosity got the better of him, so he decided to try these mysterious berries himself. Within a short time, he experienced a surge of energy and alertness that he had never felt before. The berries seemed to have remarkable stimulating properties. Intrigued by this discovery, Kaldi brought the berries to a nearby monastery where Sufi monks lived. Initially, the religious men were suspicious and even hostile toward these strange fruits. They declared the berries to be evil and threw them directly into their fire, intending to destroy what they believed might be the devil's work. However, something unexpected happened when the berries hit the flames. A rich, aromatic smell began filling the air around the monastery. The scent was so appealing and unusual that the monks reconsidered their hasty judgment. They rescued the roasted berries from the fire and decided to experiment with them further. The monks discovered that when they boiled these roasted berries in hot water, the resulting liquid had remarkable properties. It kept them alert and focused during their long nighttime prayers and meditation sessions. Word of this energizing drink began to spread throughout the region and eventually across continents. Those red berries that caught the attention of some hyperactive goats were actually coffee cherries, and the seeds inside them were what we now call coffee beans. From that accidental discovery in the Ethiopian highlands, coffee culture spread across the Middle East, into Europe, and eventually around the entire globe. Today, coffee is one of the most valuable traded commodities on Earth, with millions of people depending on it for their morning energy boost. Number 5. It takes us to modern-day Michigan, where medical science achieved something that would have been considered pure fantasy just decades earlier. Stan Larkin was diagnosed with a devastating condition called familial cardiomyopathy, a genetic disease that causes the heart muscle to weaken progressively until it can no longer pump blood effectively. By the time doctors realized how serious Stan's condition had become, his heart was failing so badly that immediate removal was the only option to save his life. But there was a major problem. While surgeons could take out his diseased heart, finding a suitable replacement organ would take time. Patients typically wait months or even years for compatible donor hearts to become available. That's when medical technology stepped in to perform what can only be described as a modern miracle. Doctors implanted an artificial heart system called the SynCardia Total Artificial Heart directly into Stan's chest cavity. This wasn't some small electronic device. The system was so complex and substantial that Stan had to carry a 6-kilogram backpack wherever he went. These 5 incredible events remind us that reality can be far stranger than any fiction we could imagine. From Niagara Falls going completely silent to a man surviving with an artificial heart in a backpack, history has given us moments that challenge everything we think we know about the world. What makes these events even more remarkable is that they all happened to real people in real places, witnessed by countless individuals who could barely believe their own eyes. Whether it was ancient shepherds discovering coffee through curious goats, a woman imprisoned for 25 years by her own family, or a daredevil breaking the sound barrier with nothing but his body, these stories prove that truth really can be stranger than fiction. The next time you think you've seen everything the world has to offer, remember these 5 moments. History is full of surprises, and somewhere out there, another unbelievable event is probably happening right now. Which of these incredible incidents amazed you the most? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed diving into history's weirdest moments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.